It is graduation season, and across Belize, hundreds of students will be leaving one level of education and entering another. We sat down with the Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Carol Babb, about various issues relating to the education system in Belize. It has been well documented that the higher the level of education, less students access it for a variety of reasons. Dr. Babb spoke about those reasons.
A lot of the high schools and the primary schools too are having graduation, and it's an exciting time for parents and students. They're excited because they're moving on to another level. From primary school to secondary school, 85 to 90% of the graduating students from primary will be moving on to secondary. So that is actually a very high rate, I would say. In addition to that, you might wonder, well, where will the other 10% go? I would say a number of that 10% will go on to some of the IT vet, or they will go to the skills training center, or they will enter the world of work. That the transition rate from secondary to junior college has also increased. It is now at 50%. Nationwide, 50% of our students leaving secondary schools are going to junior colleges. I think it's maybe about 30% or 25%. It's not as high, because by the time most students are finished with their associate degree, they are seeking jobs. They want to find employment. Their parents may tell you, I will support you until the end of junior college, and then you're on your own. So you find that the percentage is smaller. The transition rate is smaller. A lot of the high schools and the primary schools too are having graduation.
Approximately 50% of students do not progress from secondary education to tertiary education. Dr. Babb shared some of the reasons for those figures. She also spoke about the employment prospects for them.
From what are some of the factors that are influencing this 50% in that progress?
Well, I think cost is another one. And sometimes many of these students were able to get scholarships to attend high school, and they may not be able to get a scholarship to go to junior college. As you know, junior college is more expensive than high school. So it could be cost, it could be that their parents are unable to support them at junior college, that they need to go and find employment. Some of them also branch off into technical and vocational areas. Maybe they go to, I know a number of students after finishing high school, they don't want to go to junior colleges, to an academic junior college. They want to go to a technical and vocational school where they can learn to become a plumber or an electrician. A lot of them have entrepreneurial ideas and want to open their own businesses. So of late, we have found out a number of them are going to the technical and vocational schools.
What are the jobs that they could expect to get? People that only have a high school diploma until this moment.
I think maybe they could join maybe the BDF, the police. I think the work would be maybe working at maybe some of the grocery stores. The opportunities would be limited, to be quite honest. So, as I said, the minimum requirement for teaching is an associate degree. I can't think of a lot of options that they would have, so it would be to their best interest to try to attend a junior college, or even to go to one of the technical and vocational schools where they can think of starting their own businesses.
Although cost and vocational studies are two strong factors that influence students' progression from one level to another, former educator and youth advocate Annie Palacio believes that there is a stronger influencing factor. There has been, according to Palacio, a shift in education as a priority. Dr. Carol Babb gives reasons for that shift.
So the paradigm shift has started from home. Because what made the community wonderful, what made the country wonderful, what made youths knew that they had to go to school because it was important, was because the home embodied that and made sure that it was indoctrinated in you, that home, family, and church, along with community, was very important. But we don't have that now. We have parents who send their children to church and they don't go with them. We have parents who would rather buy a $200 tennis shoe to put on their child's feet than for that child to get all of the books that they needed for school. So these are the things that we need to focus on, because these are the things we need to speak about, because it's bringing down, and our society is being disintegrating because of our parents not understanding actually what their roles were. Economical wise, our parents are not prioritizing. We have parents that would rather buy a $100 ticket to go to a concert than to put that aside for books for in August. We need to start prioritizing. Many of our parents back in the days did not go to school. For example, my parents, they couldn't go to high school because their parents couldn't afford it. But as they had children, they realized that the priority was education. For your child to be out of poverty, he or she needs to be educated. So they had priorities.
I think we don't get a lot of parents being interested because they are young themselves and are, to put it simply, they are children themselves. It's like children having children. So as educators, we are trying to ensure that children stay in school, because a lot of these parents who don't give priority to education, it's because they have dropped out of school themselves and don't see the value or don't put it as a priority.
One of our major problems was that our homes have become houses, and that has caused a major impact on our society. What I mean by that is that many of us just go into our houses, we eat, we sleep, and we leave. There's no conversation. I remember my parents used to ask, how was your day? Do you need any help? Is there anything giving you problems? Do you need a tutor? Those are the things that helped us to become great role models as I got older. However, we have parents now who unfortunately both have to work. Some of our parents live very far away, and so the contact with your children gets less and less.
Palacio believes that for education to return to society's priorities, the school's curriculum needs to be revitalized to meet students' interests. The cost of education also needs to be addressed. And although many students currently may be struggling with the choice of furthering their education, Dr. Carol Babb states that in today's economy, education is needed more than ever.
The higher up you go, the more money you earn, you will be more successful, you'll be more marketable as a person. I mean, I grew up very poor, but I can say that my life is what it is because of education. So education is indeed the path to a better life, to a better future. So education is important, and parents have to make that a priority and ensure that they make all the sacrifices in the world. And to me, they can't say that they are poor. If you would do a survey, most people who are in key positions grew up in a very poor home. But the attitude and the behavior towards education was different. Parents made sacrifices, and we need our parents to do the same.
In tomorrow's newscast, we will have more of our conversation with Dr. Carol Babb as we discuss the quality of education.